Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another awesome episode of Piloting Premodern. I'm your host, Jerry Me, joined as always by Mr. Pat Uglow. How you doing, Pat?
I'm doing great, Jerry. How you doing today?
I am excellent because we have a sick guest lined up for the audience tonight. We have a champion in the house, Pat. We have the Singapore Nationals champion, Mr. Shawn Low. Welcome to the cast, Shawn. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jerry. Pat, big fans of leaving a legacy. Glad to be here. I'm glad you guys got into pre-modern, like
Yeah, I know.
pushing
Better late
that.
than never, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a good format. It's been fun. Good to be here.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I'm super pumped to have you on the cast. For our listeners who don't know, you recently took down the Singapore Nationals pre-modern tournament, running Sly, which is, a little bit of an underdog, I think most people would say. So I'm really interested to see how you fielded the meta
Yeah.
with the deck. And then also I'm really curious about just kind of like the Singapore metagame and pre-modern in general. Just we've never really gotten much of a peek at that part of the world's
Mm.
magic side. So
Yep.
I got a lot of questions for you.
Fire away. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Happy to hear. Let me know where to start. We've got
Yeah,
quite a lot of
well,
questions to cover.
tell
So
tell us about yourself. How did you get into pre-modern?
yeah, my journey. I wrote a little blog about it. That a big shout out to Martin Berlin, creator of the pre-modern format. He was kind enough to engage with the Singapore community in the UK, and he posted a tournament report that I had written. So if you go check out his blog, it's got more details around my run, a
Yep.
little bit about my background as well. Pre-modern, I'm actually I think people I said spiked the tournament, right? These things happen. That was my literally my first pre-modern event ever.
Mm.
Right.
Really?
And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it was. Fun
You win
fact.
you win
Yeah,
nationals on your first ever pre-modern tournament. That's
yeah.
sick.
And I spiked it. But having said that, my pre-modern journey is a bit longer. I first, I think, engaged with the format maybe 4 years ago. This popped up in the scene. There was a community that started bubbling in Singapore. They were pretty vocal, pretty passionate, pretty active. They had the support of one of the local game stores, Hideout, who always gave them a spot to play and run tournaments and support it with prizes. So I sort of started looking at deck lists, and I thought this is interesting. There's a certain nostalgia as someone who started playing back in revised fourth edition, and then I stopped and I started again in Onslaught block. Some of the card frames sort of really had a lot of nostalgia for me. So I thought this is interesting. I love Burn, I love Slice, some of the archetypes in the
Mm.
format, really interesting. So I just kept across the decks, and I thought, hey, I've got some of these cards. I'm just going to throw some decks together, and maybe one day I'll get to play. And back then it was all paper and webcam leagues only. It wasn't on Arena or no, sorry, on Magic Online. So a lot of it's really a community-driven format. I just kept across the decks. I built some decks. I goldfished it, and then I just put it away for a couple of years. Um, yeah, so that was my first brush with pre-modern. I'm glad I picked up some staples then as well. I went, oh, I need some curse scrolls, so I just picked them up for whatever that was back then. But having said that, having played Legacy, old school, I was lucky enough to have some of the staples like your Mox Diamonds and your Cradles before they went, absolutely
Hmm.
bonkers the last
Hmm.
6, 12 months. So that's my engagement. I always kept in touch with the community, and a bit like, do you know the character Taskmaster from Marvel Comics? It's a
Yeah,
bit like,
yep,
yeah, he learns by just he sees something happens and then he can do the thing.
yep.
So I've been sort of absorbing a lot of content, watching a lot of streams, Neon Mushroom, Spike Colony, Fire Truck, some of the guys that I watch. There's been a lot of pre-modern content, so I've just been watching so much of that stuff just to learn the ins and outs of the decks and all the lines. So I felt like I learned a lot about how to navigate the matches just by watching content and
Uh-huh.
sort of made mental memories of what I need to do. So I felt going in, even though I hadn't played any pre-modern events, I felt confident that I knew the matchups and how to identify archetypes based on the cards that someone would play.
Definitely. And how did that kind of like, is Mono Red Sly like your only deck, or did you choose that specifically for that tournament?
Yeah, so there's a bit of a lead up to that. So I built Sly, Red Green Goblins, Landstill, Stasis. Don't judge me for that.
Oh no,
Um,
we are a state fan club over here.
oh,
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
Oh yeah.
Joe,
I've got
Jerry's in
yeah.
the Stasis fan club.
Me and my black border stasises will be over here,
Yeah.
ready for the
Uh,
the perfect moment.
yeah, that's great. And I've got Madness as well, Blue Green Madness. It's pretty much quite intact from
Yeah,
when it
you
was
have a
standard
wide range,
legal.
wide range of decks to
Yeah.
choose from. So this was definitely a conscious choice to bring Sly to the table.
Yeah, so leading up to it, and I had Moneyball Black. Everyone was drinking the Moneyball Black Kool-Aid leading up into to
Yeah,
LobsterCon. I think everyone went, "Oh my
yeah, it
God,
was
this
the
is deck
second
to
most
beat."
played deck at LobsterCon.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think prior to that, the Portuguese nationals, I think Marcelo Cavallo, he went top four with Moneyball, and
Hmm.
everyone's talking about, "Oh, this is the deck to beat, deck to beat." So I built Moneyball as well. Um, Prior to going into the nationals, I joined the local pre-modern guys. They have this Wednesday casuals. It's not formal. Everyone just brings decks and they just kind of play what they want to play. So I brought a couple of decks and I thought, okay, I'm all in a Moneyball. I'm going to test the Moneyball matchup. And I just got stomped by every single deck I played. Uh, Playing Moneyball, I lost to Goblins. I lost to Oath Ponza. I
Hmm.
went, oh, this deck's great, but I think you need to navigate the edges in combat really well. I know what to name with Cabal Therapy. And I thought, I don't have that much experience in the format. The little edges count. And I thought, maybe not quite the deck I want to pilot. So I tested a few things. I tested Stasis and Landstill. I'm confident playing Control, but again, I didn't want to go to time and get a draw. The last thing you
Right.
want to do is get draws, right? So I went, and then the last deck of the night, I pulled out Sly, and I just played it. And I just couldn't stop winning with it. And I felt really, really comfortable. I used to play Boros Burn in Modern,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and obviously knowing how to pilot the matchups, when to be beat down, when to be controlled, something I'm familiar with as a burn Sly player. So I thought, this is it, something clicked. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna lock in the list and bring it to nationals. Yeah, that was
And the
me.
rest is history. And
History. But also
definitely
big
listen.
shout out.
Mhm.
One note on that as well. My list, I was looking at all the Sly lists. Obviously, there are many flex slots. Some people like playing Ball Lightning,
Mhm.
as a four off. I saw Stu. I don't know if I'm mangling his last name. Stu Zelenic. I
Mhm.
can't. Yeah, he went top eight in LobsterCon with a Sly list, and he had Volcanic Hammers in there. He had the one-off Orcish Librarian as well as
I
a bit
know.
of
I
a
wanted to
move.
ask you about that. The one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Orcish
We can talk
Librarian. I
about that.
love. I love
We can
that as
talk
a
about that.
list.
So I saw Stu's list and thought, oh, this looks interesting. He made a deep run. I like the core of the list, and I thought, let me use that as a base, and I'm gonna make a couple of tweaks to cater to what I thought the Singapore metagame was gonna be. Singapore is a pretty broad meta. Singapore's a pretty well-to-do country. I think people, when they want to play a format, they're all in on it. They're willing to spend the money. So you've
Yeah.
got guys with, all the cards they need, the cradles, the survivals, the Mox Diamonds. So any deck you want to play, you'll find it here. So I expected Enchantress Replenish to be popular, and they
Mhm.
were, off the back of LobsterCon as well, right? With Brian Hsu taking that down. So I expected those matchups. I expected Sly, Moneyball Black, and then all your rogue decks. Always a couple of combo players playing their pet
Mhm.
decks. So big broad field. I thought Sly's got game across all of it. So I made some tweaks off Stu's list to cater to the metagame. But happy to talk more to that. Yeah, any
Yeah.
questions around the deck or the matchups?
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at Orcish Librarian, I mean, it seems kind of like tailor-made for the Sly deck because Sly is a deck that, all your cards are more or less equal, right? So you don't really care necessarily that much that you're, removing half of the eight from the game because just being able to stack them in your preferred order to close out the game seems very useful. But, what's your experience with that?
I'll just say that every time I sideboard, that's the first card I cut.
Okay.
So I like it because
So much for that.
No, no,
Oh
no,
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 no, that
no,
doesn't
no, no,
work.
no. Don't ruin it. No.
so much. But it was a bit of a meme. I think I listened to a podcast that Stu spoke about. It's a bit of a meme, sort of a pet card. In
Ah,
theory, it looks good on paper, but the thing is, Burn doesn't have much card draw. I'm not playing things like Urza's Bobble where we can
Mhm.
cantrip something or any card selection. You draw it what you draw, right? And you
Mhm.
play to the top deck. As a one-off, I think in my tournament report, I only ever played it once. I only ever drew it once and played it once. And I managed to activate it against an Alluran player. And as with anything, burn, you live and die by your top deck. I did
Hmm.
see 8 cards. I stacked it. The 4 cards were fine. They were not crash hot, but I managed to sort of filter out lands.
Mhm.
And I don't want to draw more lands. So I think it worked. But again, it's the first card to be cut. In my tournament report, I'd find a replacement for it. I'm not sure what I'd replace it with.
Okay.
It's a flex slot. You could
Yeah.
put another a burn spell or increase another price of progress if you expect a meta with a lot of non-basics. So
Hmm.
I think like it's fun when it happens. People always pick up the card and go, "What the hell is this?"
I just know it because of the art. It's one of those kind of like iconic arts that like
Yeah,
people always put in articles and things like
yeah,
that, but no one ever really takes the card itself seriously.
I
It's
know.
definitely for the art, but it is that classic like old school Magic feel.
Mm, cool art though. But I think most of the burn plays, if you look at the very active burn Discord, no one plays it.
Yeah.
They're always trying to tech in something else. But
I mean,
yeah, it did come up once. It worked.
I'm a sucker
But
for
it
the
was,
one of spicy include, right?
I
That's
know.
why
I
we
think Lenny on Spike Colony would call it loose action, right? It's loose action. Yeah.
Excellent. And yeah, we're definitely gonna link your tournament report that Martin Berlin posted on his blog. So if listeners want kind of the in-depth breakdown of the tournament, definitely recommend going and giving that a read. I'm interested about just kind of like playing pre-modern and Magic in general in Singapore because I mean we have the benefit that if we wanted to go to a tournament, 8 hours away, we can just hop in the car and drive.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Singapore is an island nation. How are you able to just like go to Malaysia or go to Papua New Guinea or go to Indonesia for a tournament?
Yeah.
Like what's like travel like for traveling to
Yeah, yeah,
tournaments?
fair. That's a good question. Locally, I think the store per player ratio, I don't know what the odds are, but there's so many Magic stores in town compared.
Mhm.
I lived in London for a couple of years, and there was only one store where I had to travel to play paper Magic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Compared to Singapore, where I think no matter where you live, we're such a small island. You're 20 minutes away from an LGS that you can
Hmm.
play Magic. Yeah. So what's popular here, obviously standard. They run the gauntlet of all the RCs and RCQs. So that happens all the time. FNMs, that's popular. Obviously, Commander, like everywhere else in the world, Commander's super popular here. And that's like the most popular format. And then you've got little groups that are really dedicated to legacy is big here. I think
Yeah.
3 or 4 stores run weekly legacy nights, and they get between um, 8 to 20 players every week. Yep,
Hmm.
consistently. So the same faces. And modern drops in and out based on whether it's on the RC playlist or not.
Hmm.
So standard legacy, vintage. There is a very small vintage community that I join sometimes as well. So there are about 20 of us that play once a month. Yeah.
Hmm.
And there was an old school community that used to play weekly as well, but that sort of kind of tapered down a little bit.
Hmm.
But tournament wise, there's always RCQs firing off every week. And the way it works is RCs are regional. It's a bit like living in Europe. When you're in London, you can travel to France, Portugal for your RCs or your not GPs, your what do you call them? Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
RCs.
Whatever they
Yeah.
call them these days.
Yep,
Yeah.
I can't remember. So people do travel. They happen all around in Thailand, Bangkok, the Philippines. It's just an hour or two away. And I know people who travel to Japan for Eternal Weekend. So every year they get a crew together, they play Legacy over there, they play Vintage over there, and there's a crew of people from Singapore that just pop over and
Nice.
jam. Yeah, I think a couple of them have made top 8, top 16 of the Eternal Weekend as well.
Mhm.
So that's so pretty strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've got a couple of Pro Tour players in Singapore as well. They joined. I don't think they've ever. I think one of them made top 8 before in a PT, but the rest of them sort of pretty much grinders that occasionally that constantly make the Pro Tour.
Hmm.
Pretty
Yeah.
competitive scene. Yeah.
Sounds like you kind of get the best of both worlds where you have like a super high density so that you don't really have to travel if you don't want to, but if
Yeah.
you do, there's lots of stuff all around.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. And there are lots of webcam leagues as well. There is an APAC pre-modern webcam league that's pretty active. They fire off leagues. That does happen. I haven't joined it. I don't have a good webcam setup, but I know some of the pre-modern guys here do join. They do join that. Yeah.
nice. Would you say is like English the predominant language? Since I mean, there's lots of
Yeah,
different.
yeah. For fun fact, I think most people don't know English is the primary language in Singapore. So
Right. Yep.
everyone, English is the de facto language at
Mm,
school, and everyone has to pick up a second language in school. So that might be Mandarin or Bahasa Malay or Tamil. Yeah,
mhm.
Yeah.
depends. But
Yeah, I was just
English.
wondering because it sounds like it's kind of like a little bit of a melting pot with people traveling around between, Thailand and Indonesia and Singapore that, it can
Yeah.
cause some some difficulties with the language barrier.
No, we had some international visitors come visit for the nationals, and yeah, English is fine. It was ended up being sort of the primary language. We had
Mm.
a visitor from China as well. He came down to play the nationals, and yeah, I mean we speak Mandarin as well, so it's sort of like this blend between English and Mandarin. We
Ah,
sort of mix it up. We've got our
yeah.
own little, like slang, but both.
So
Yeah.
listen, listeners, if you're looking to stretch your legs and looking for a tournament to attend and you're worried about the language barrier, you can fly on over to Singapore and fit right in.
Yeah, come do that. We've had people join us. It's a pretty active community. There's a Premodern Singapore Facebook group. I might share the link if people want to join.
Yeah,
But we
please.
have visitors come in, and we always, if they time it with the monthly. So what happens? We have a monthly. So the monthlies, maybe get about 20 people turn up. It's typically 4 rounds. It's supported with prizes, proxies. The goal boarded proxies are allowed. That happens and international visitors come, and we usually try to do an exchange. Like, here's some tokens that we have, and then we
Mhm.
swap it with some stamp tokens they might have from their part of the world. So it's a nice cultural exchange as well. And then
Awesome.
we go out for a meal after, and someone
That's
here
the
usually
best part of tournaments is
yeah.
going for the post-tournament dinner.
Yeah, yeah, dinner and drinks. So yeah, you're more than welcome. You're coming to Singapore, yeah, come give us a shout out. So every Wednesday, casuals at one of the LGSs, and every month we've got a monthly. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Pat, I did just send my wife. They just started. It's a business class from Boston to Tokyo for only $1,000.
Really?
Yeah, just a short hop, skip, and a jump from Tokyo to Singapore.
I do need to update my passport, so that would be pretty fun to do.
It might start
We get
there.
back
Yeah,
to
do that. Yeah, come visit.
yeah,
Come visit.
Jerry and I when we were playing a lot of Legacy, we went to quite a few places in the US, which was a lot of fun, but I would love to go overseas to play some Magic. I think it'd be really, really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should. Yeah, yeah. Pretty friendly community here. So yeah, more than welcome. Let's make
just
it happen.
Pat, tell your wife it's a magic trip after you get on the plane.
She'd be happy to just have me out of the house, honestly. I would bring my golf clubs and my Magic cards. I'd be good for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have a couple of golf courses here, and you can always travel up to Malaysia or jump on a ferry to one of the Indonesian islands, 30, 40 minutes away. There's some good golf courses there if you want
Sounds
to bring a
amazing.
club.
Home. It's time to go home there, ball.
Son of a bitch, Ball, why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Hell yeah. What's kind of prices look like for magic cards? Like I don't know how much I mean you lived in London for a while, but do you know how much if there's much of a price difference for
Yeah, we
cards?
peg for Singapore, we peg our prices to Card Kingdom typically,
Oh, really?
or
Okay.
TCG Player, but we
Yep.
don't convert it. So there's sort of an unspoken rule that everyone takes. Typically, if it's $1 for a card on Card Kingdom, it's a dollar Singapore. Yeah. So
Really?
yeah, and then it flexes up and down from there. Sometimes
Mhm.
people say, oh, if it's reserve list or if it's out of stock, I might price it a little bit higher. If it's yeah, so on if they want to sell in bulk or they want to get rid of make a quick sale, they might say we'll do a zero point 0.8 or zero point 0.9 against Card Kingdom.
Mhm.
So that's typically the benchmark. For private sales, the stores typically price it based on a couple of things. The stores have Crystal Commerce, so that gets linked to I think TCG Player
Yep.
APIs, and they just add a markup based on currency. So typically it's TCG mid times 1.2 at stores. So
Mhm.
pretty reasonable. I think with some of the cheaper sealed prices are super cheap here as well. They're always, pretty affordable, and we don't have sales tax, so things you don't feel that extra pain like you do in
Mhm.
the US where you slap on sales tax onto everything else, and it just bumps the price up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty
I'm
popular.
curious in Singapore, like, so I like to make my decks. I've always, I mean, if you listen to Leaving a Legacy, you know I like to have my decks in Japanese. I have
Yeah,
most of Thresh Knot now in Japanese. Like,
nice.
how do you, if you do you pimp out your decks? Like, how do you see people around you kind of trick out their decks? Are they going in different languages? Are they foiling them
Yep.
out? What do you see?
Yeah, for sure. Probably not dissimilar to everywhere else in the world. Japanese is really popular. I would say that's probably the most popular non-English version of cards that people
Hmm.
sling. So I'm not. I've seen quite a lot of all Japanese decks. I did the same for Legacy. I
Hmm.
went to Japan. I thought, let's give myself a mission and convert my Delver deck into all Japanese.
Hmm.
So I did the same as you. So people love foils and shiny stuff here as well. So I think for pre-modern, there are a couple of guys who try to rock OG modern all foil frames if you can afford it. It
Yep,
gets pretty pricey,
it does. Yeah,
like 1,500 for a polluted delta. Ouch.
crazy.
Polluted foil, polluted dollars, 1,500. Good Lord.
I don't know, something crazy
I
like that.
believe it because like even the non-foils are like $150 each, which
Jeez.
I was
Yeah.
very happy to find my polluted deltas and flooded strands, my onslaught ones in an old legacy deck that I hadn't sold yet. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Nice. So yeah, a lot of pre-modern guys rock the OG frames. I think
Mhm.
they started with, the budget versions of modern frames and they go, oh, I can't stand this. Let's just go OG.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's been a shift towards making sure your frames are OG.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Respect. I love that.
yeah. And secret layer, some people love it, hate it. Some people try to, I'm not talking about pre-modern though. I'm talking about other formats, but
Mm.
they secret layout their deck. So there's some people do that as well.
I might be wrong on this, but is Singapore typically a very humid country? Like, does that give
Yeah, yeah.
problems with the
Super
foils?
humid. Yeah.
'Cause-
So it's pretty humid. Paper doesn't age very well. We have a lot of pringling on the cards.
uh-huh.
For some of the, yeah. So I mean there are ways around it. Flatten it, put it in
Yeah.
a dehumidifier, and yeah. But it does happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you pull it out of the pack and it pringle out.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if Wizards ever fixed that, but I remember right around when I quit, there was like the big thing about like Wizards couldn't release like secret layers would come out and they were already like bent in half in the
Mm.
packaging of the secret
I've had a few
layers.
of those. Yeah, I've had a few of those. I think it depends on where it's printed and yeah, but I've seen a mix. I think it's a lot better now, but I still see the occasional Pringle.
Yeah. Well, Pat, I just looked it up. The exchange rate right now is $1 to $1.30 Singapore dollar. So I think you could probably fund your trip on the savings of buying your remaining Japanese Phyrexian dreadnoughts by flying to Singapore
Uh,
and getting.
Honestly, Jerry, the math checks out for me. Like,
That's $74 million.
It's $1 million, Glenn.
Yeah, in human dollars.
Your dollar's a bit stronger. It's come down a little bit, but I think you still get better value. And everything else is cheap here, right? Food's pretty cheap here. And
Mhm.
if you go out to the hawker centers and yeah. So beers are reasonable if you want to have a few
Hell yeah.
pints. Yeah, sure. So you're
Hell
more
yeah.
than welcome. Yeah. So yep, cut prices pretty reasonable. But of course, we've seen all the pre-modern spikes.
Yeah.
They're reflected here as well. So
Mhm.
it's a bit nuts. I feel that's a bit of a barrier to the format, especially if you want to play something that needs a reserve list card. Not
Mhm.
everything's been gold boarded, right? I think Mox Diamonds one
Yeah,
of the
Mox Diamonds are
offenders that
like $1,500 now.
Wow.
That's my biggest regret. I sold those in like 2018 for 250 each. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
my biggest regret.
No, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I never sell anything. I just keep amassing and I don't need to sell it. I just keep it. So
yeah,
that's worked out really well for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do think I agree. The reserve list cards are definitely a barrier, but you can play pre-modern on the cheap as long as you don't mind getting
Yeah.
like ugly modern frame. Because I was looking, I ended up shelling out for it, but I was looking like Shivan Reefs. Apocalypse Shivan Reefs are like $20, and then
Yeah.
whatever the like recent ones are like 50 cents. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I could drop $80 or I could drop $2.
Well, that's
I-
the nice thing about it too is that you can get the cheap versions originally, and then as you get into the deck, if it's something that you like with Delver, you slowly start converting it over to the frames that you actually want and the versions that you actually
Yeah.
want. So you have that freedom, which is really cool.
That's what I did recently as well. I upgraded all my Painlands. I went, I just really couldn't stand the Shivan Reefs, the 50 cent
Yeah.
Shivan Reefs. So I found a local store. They had four of the Apocalypse in Japanese, and I picked them up. And
Hell
then I
yeah.
bought some from Haruya as well. In
Hmm.
Japan, they ship over here. They're a bit pricier, but they have them in stock. If you
Yeah.
want Japanese cards, I think that's pretty much the go-to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I get a lot of my Japanese cards is from Haruya. They've been pretty
Yeah.
great. It is a little tough because when I'm shipping them overseas, like if I don't get a bunch at once, like they had one Nimble Mongoose. I'm short one Japanese Nimble Mongoose in the old frame. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't really want to pay $25 to ship it
For
here
one.
for
Yeah.
one. So I'm like, I just need a time when there's a dreadnought and a mongoose, and that's a purchase
Yeah.
that I feel good about. So uh
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, just keep
crossing my
an eye
fingers that
out.
they come in at the same time.
They process a lot of cards, so things go
Mm.
in and out of stock
Hmm.
really fast. But if you keep your eyes out, I'm sure you'll be able to
Oh
find
yeah,
them.
I have alerts set up so that when they hit their inventory, I get emails, and I'm just waiting for
Oh,
them
right.
to. They have to coincide at the same time. That's
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
tough
fair
part.
enough. Or you could come to Singapore and try to find them. We'll make sure that you're sorted. Special guests all the way from the US. We'll sort you out.
Yeah, maybe they'd set them aside for me.
I think they
Uh,
would. Yeah, a lot of Japanese cards floating around here.
yeah. So Sean, if you had a pre-modern tournament tomorrow, are you
Yeah,
sleeving up Sly again, or are you switching it up? Where are you falling?
good question. I think I'd be comfortable sleeving up Sly and giving it another run.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I take. I've been tinkering around with sort of mono black. There's this suicide black list. It's like lean and clean, lots of creatures,
Mm.
just
Ah,
straight beat down, pretty linear, but fun. Black's got some good sideboard cards. Dystopia is just like a I think for casual tournaments, I bring in some sort of blue deck, Landstill or Stasis, just to get flex a bit of my control muscles a little bit.
Hmm.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, I like diversity and shaking things up. People here do the same as well. In fact, we've got one of the organizers, Lionel. He's organizing something for 4th of July actually that weekend. He said, let's have a rogue deck tournament. He's going to. I don't think there's a ban list, but he says, hey, let's not play all the tier one, tier two known archetypes. Bring in something a brew, and
Mm.
then we'll jam. We'll have some pizzas, play a couple of rounds,
Wait, is
and
that
then
is it just a coincidence it's on 4th of July, or is it specifically for you?
I think it happens to fall on the weekend.
I don't know
4th
if
of July.
like Singapore
Yeah.
just had a shared hatred of the British, and it was just like,
No, not really. It just so happens it's going to fall on 4th of July, and 4th of July is a Saturday. People are not working. That's
Yeah.
why I thought
I
I
I,
just
I
call it
did.
out, give you guys a shout out.
There we go. I did see today that if things line up, Team USA will play against Team UK on the 4th of July for the World Cup, and that will
Ooh,
be
that'll be interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
on USA's 250th birthday. Getting to beat the UK one more time would just be the icing on the cake.
Well, the US have been doing well, that's for sure. You guys have, yeah, you got a good team. Singapore, let's talk about the scene here, like in Asia,
Yeah.
pre-modern. Yeah, I've been looking at Europe. Pre-modern's really seems to be, pretty popular over there. You got Portugal, Spain. I think they're all pretty all in on pre-modern.
Mhm.
Southeast Asia, not so much. I met a guy from Taiwan. He came down for our nationals. He said he's trying to get things going over there, and
Mm.
no one's that interested in it. I think they're just focused on Commander and Standard over there. Singapore's popular. Where else? I know China has got it's not quite Southeast Asia, but China has got a pretty active pre-modern league and
Wow.
community going on over there. Also because they've had cards since fourth edition. So
Right.
Magic's been around. As long as you've got old border cards,
Hmm.
for the longest time, Wizards were printing Chinese, simplified and traditional Chinese
Hmm.
for Taiwan and the mainland China markets. So I think they've got a good pool of pre-modern cards over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, that's what I was kind of surprised by hearing you describe it, is it sounds like the metagame is fairly similar to the metagame in like the US and Europe, whereas I remember, when we were doing Leaving a Legacy and we were interviewing people about, Legacy, there were some pretty distinct metagame differences
Mm.
between like the US and other parts of the world just because of the availability of reserve list cards. Because like you said, they didn't start printing Chinese cards until fourth edition, so that's well after all the reserve list cards. Well, not all the reserve list cards, but a good portion of them. So because of that, just availability was much lower, and as a result, the metagame was different. But it just sounds like that's not true with pre-modern.
Not really. The pre-modern card pools are, I mean, obviously smaller, right? We've got
Mhm,
only a few sets, and I think most of all the pre-modern cards have been printed in Chinese language.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, going back to fourth edition. Yeah, so I think they have the ability to build most decks. I do notice when I look at some of the monthlies that happen in China, they get, I think in Beijing they have 20, 30 players every month. Pretty mixed. All the tier one decks always place in top eight. I think they love blue-white control over there. I constantly see land still in top eights.
Mhm.
And then of course the smattering of Replenish and Enchantress, Shrimp over there as well. So all the tier decks, they've got them, they've got the cards, they've got access to the pool of cards over there. And it's gold border friendly as well.
Hmm.
So I think that allows people to get access to decks. And Landstill is a pretty budget deck, all things
Hmm.
Yeah.
considered, play modern frame. Yeah.
Is there like a pre-modern Mecca in Southeast Asia, like something like LobsterCon would be for America? Is there
Not
like
really. I think we're trying to get that going.
Mhm.
Southeast Asia, Singapore's probably the first one where we put out a nationals.
Yeah.
We had 40 people turn up, so RCQ type size. Pretty good considering we saw a lot of new faces. I would say that more than half the people that turned up were new to the community. So obviously things have been bubbling. People have been building pre-modern decks at home on a kitchen
Hmm.
table, and they
Yeah.
just sort of come out the woodwork. I know
Yeah.
some people play Magic Online since Daybreak put it out on MTGO.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would say Singapore would, if I'm not wrong, the organizers here are trying to make it bigger and better and trying to get more regional people in next year.
Mhm.
So China is a community that we'll reach out to and connect with. I think the challenge with us and them is the channel comms. We speak the language, so that helps. But they use WeChat and different platforms, so we need to find a way to kind of bridge the gap
Yeah.
comms wise and get them to join us. We're
Hmm.
gonna open up the nationals next year to more regional countries if they want to
Mhm.
come. They're
Awesome.
welcome to. Yeah, and all the guys in the APAC League, there's a mix of people from I think the Philippines, Thailand, they that play pre-modern as well.
Yep.
So they'll probably be able to travel over with enough notice.
So a big push with pre-modern's growth in the US at least has been kind of a bit of frustration with Wizards in like their game design and the printing of sets and whatnot that kind of ruined legacy. Would you say that outlook is similar in Southeast Asia or is it not as present? What would kind of be your interpretation of that?
I mean, there are always going to be people complaining about what
Yeah.
Wizards do and don't do. Um, at the end of the day, you just vote with your wallet, right? Play what's
Hmm.
comfortable for you, buy what you want, spend the money however you will. I think pre-modern scratches a different itch is that I think people like the fact that it's got a fixed pool of cards, so you're not
Mhm.
constantly needing to keep up with the meta by
Hmm.
with the latest set. I don't need to
Hmm.
jam a new Spider-Man in my
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah.
Right. So it's fixed pool of cards that appeals to people. The old border, I think, appeals to people. And I think I like the fact that people are trying to tinker and trying to come up
Mm.
with own brews all the time. People say, oh, the format's solved. It's not solved, right?
Yeah.
The meta ebbs and flows. People have their pet decks. Sometimes it spikes the tournament because people are not prepped for it. So people have fun with it. I think that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. People are having fun
Yeah.
brewing, and that's what you want out of
Yes.
Magic sometimes. And it is competitive, but one thing to add, and I've been hearing this echoed a lot. I listened to Brian Sue talk about it as well. He's a super competitive player, obviously been out
Mhm.
there in the top.
Yeah.
But he said when he started playing pre-modern, and I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, he said, he enjoyed that it was competitive but also friendly at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sometimes people, the super competitive side of things can get pretty, you know, I guess it's not friendly. It's
Yeah.
can get
That
ugly. It can get
Yeah.
very, yeah.
that's how I was feeling towards the end of my legacy days. I was going to like GPs and I was like looking forward to scrubbing out because it was just more enjoyable on the lower tables than the upper
Yeah,
tables because people were just getting way too competitive and the rules lawyering and like the angling and things like that. And it was
yeah,
just like it just stopped being fun. Like people just were taking
yeah,
it way too seriously.
yeah. I get it. So yeah, I think pre-modern sort of has this nice blend between yeah, the fun and the community,
Hmm.
but also people who love their decks. They learn it in and out and they play it really well and they try their best to yeah, to play the ins and outs of their decks.
Oh yeah.
So it's got a nice mix of both.
So going back to Sly, Sean, was there any card? I know you said that Orcus Librarian was the first card that you cut in sideboarding. Was there a card that you felt overperformed during the tournament that you felt like was worth, having the slots in the deck?
So my list is a little bit different. I was creature light. I dropped ball lightning. Everyone's always prepped with swords or some way to remove ball lightning, right? You
Hmm.
tap out 3 mana and then they just kill your thing. So I went slightly creature light. Of I think my finals game I opened with two Fire Blast and two Morg Fanatics, and immediately you know that's 10 points worth of damage there if it
Hmm.
resolves. So Fire Blast, I think is one of obviously the red deck's best cards. And my build favored, heavier land count, so you could, find inevitability with Fire Blast.
Hmm.
Curse Scroll in Burn is good as well. At the end of the day, you run out of gas. If you got a Curse Scroll on the table, you're constantly activating the two. But I think Lava Man really overperformed for me. Yeah, the Lava Man, I played a fetch heavy mana base. So again, inevitability of hitting them or controlling the board or pinging them for two a turn. That to me was an all-star. Price of Progress, I had, I think, a one or two off in
Hmm.
the main deck. That always, in this, I think if you look at the meta, most people play, unless you're facing, a Moneyball Black or Sly, you're going to get 4 points of damage minimum
Yeah.
out of progress. And it's instant speed. So if a blue player taps out for, yeah, something end of turn, you just pop them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
kind of playing that game. I played a lot at instant speed, based on what you do and end of turn, just trying to just cast fire of my spells then. So I think I leaned in more on those sorts of interactions. I tried
Hmm.
to sorcery speed type effects. So I dropped things like Volcanic Hammer, for example, just to, yeah. I don't want to play into a mana leak or something. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Now,
But
really, the most important question about the deck, Sean. Did you kick Urza's Rage at all during the tournament?
I had someone ask me that, I think on Reddit or Discord, and I was hoping I didn't. I was counting up, even with all the lands I had, I don't think I had enough basics to kick it.
You didn't, but counting the Wastelands and the Barbarian Ring, you have just enough. So if you
Just enough.
play all but two of your mana sources,
Yeah,
you
I
have enough
was
to
able to
cast
kick it.
the kick the
No,
Urza's
I
Rage.
didn't get to kick it. No, I think that should be something I set, right? It's an achievement to unlock. I probably need to up my mana count as well. But I think there is another big red deck that plays this Rage and tries to kick it.
Hmm.
But no, I didn't kick it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
I've
the card though. Yeah, the 3 mana, it does three end of turn. I killed one game, I think I killed a morphed Exalted Angel end of turn against a blue player. Can't be
Hmm.
counted. So there you go.
I,
Yeah, so has its uses.
I like that it can't be countered by spells or abilities, so it does
Mm.
give you an out against Replenish if they're able to land the Decree of Silence. You can
Oh yeah, that is
get
true.
there with
That's
the
it.
Urza's Rages.
Look at you, Jerry, next level play. And then if you kick it,
And if you
that's up.
kick it, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if you're gonna
like
get
that.
much chance kicking it if they have a decree of silence in play, though.
That is true. That is
Your
true.
time on this earth is probably pretty short.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I did play against Replenish. I think I had one, two, three Replenish matchups. Two or three, I can't remember now.
Wow. Yeah, how
Yeah,
many how
yeah.
many rounds was the
Three,
tournament?
three. It was I played 9 matches in total, 5 rounds. Yeah, five rounds in Swiss.
Yeah, so I
And
mean,
we had a ruling where there were no IDs, so everyone had to play everything out.
oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. No IDs.
They wanted to give everyone a chance to, play out all 5 matches and
Yeah.
yeah, and play it out. We're there to play Magic, right? So typically, so no IDs. That meant that, the top tables had to play it out still.
Yeah.
So it was 5 rounds Swiss. And then I managed to sneak in on breakers. I was a bit lucky. I just squeaked in. I went three, I think I went three, 3-2, I think. I can't remember now. I need to look at my tournament report. But
Excellent.
yeah, so 5 rounds. I think it was 5 rounds or 6 rounds. I can't remember. Let me check my report real quick.
I'm looking at the report
That's
now.
6 rounds. Six
Yeah,
rounds.
6 rounds.
Six
Yeah.
rounds.
Six
Yeah.
rounds Swiss. Yeah. I went 4-2. Yeah. Yeah. I went
Excellent.
4-2 on Swiss. Yeah. And
Yeah.
squeaked in top eights on breakers. Yeah.
Well,
Funnily enough, even though there were no IDs, because there were a lot of replenish mirror matches in the top tables, they ended up drawing a lot. Just couldn't play
yeah,
it out.
yeah.
So we had a lot of sort of like 4-1-1s or something like 4-1-1s in the top four.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah,
So yeah.
check down below, guys. We'll link to Sean's tournament report so you can read it for yourselves.
Yeah. So it's fun. Yeah, I take Sly again into to any day. It's got game. I think it's a tier one deck, and people always respect it. Yeah, whichever build, right? As much as I don't like ball lightning, it still gets people.
It does. Yep. Got me
Yeah.
today in a Magic Online league. So
Yeah. So there you go. And then, a mix of wastelands. I'm seeing people that the Burn Discord is really, really active. People are trying to sort of innovate and tinker around all the time. I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of debate about playing Goblin Vandal in the main deck. Do you know that card? You
I
should
Yeah.
don't
bring it
know
up.
that card.
Yeah, it's a 1 mana, 1/1 goblin. I think if you connect and hit your opponent, you can pay one and sack it to destroy target artifact. So some people are going apeshit over it, saying that, oh, it's good against, I don't know, shrimp. Yeah, so but
I feel if they
they're,
have a
they're
shrimp in play, you're probably not connecting with that Goblin Vandal.
exactly. So yeah, so there's a bit of about that. And then there's always pros and cons around, Goblin Cadet, going up on Mishra's factories in the side in the main deck. Yeah, so lots of tinkering going on. I think Flailing Soldier was put out at some point. People go, oh, we should play this as a 2/2 1 drop that your
Hmm.
opponent can just kill if they have mana. If you don't
I'm
know that card, we'll explain
I'm
that.
interested. I want to see your round five opponent's bird list because
Yeah,
when I first started playing Magic, my very first deck I ever put together was like an
but
onslaught block bird soldiers
yeah.
deck. So
There was
love me some battle
a
screech.
yeah, that was a fun deck. I think there was a video that I linked to in my tournament report of a tuber called Grant Fly. I think he piloted a very similar sort of bird bombardment or bird, I don't know. It's
Bird
bombardment.
bombing. Yeah.
Yeah, bird bomb. It's got goblin bombardment in there. You just kind of like sack the birds and then shoot you or shoot your thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, and some of the birds are main deck pro red. So when that lands, it's a bit problematic. I think my second game, he landed a pro red flyer and then he suited it up with armadillo cloak. And
Oh
that was
yeah.
pretty much like lights out for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So but it's a fun list. I think it's one of those brews that you could bring in. It's got enough. Yeah. I've seen lots of interesting brews I saw a Rebels aggro weenie
Hmm.
type looked interesting as well. Lots of tutoring going on. Yeah. I think one of the top 16 guys played a white weenie deck here as well that was pretty much flooding the board out with your Savannah Lions and your 1/2 drops and crusading it and then going sideways. Yeah.
Yep. Good thing you're packing your anarchies in the sideboard.
Yeah, that I do. On the sideboard, Ensnaring Bridge has been actually a bit of a stellar performer. I think it was
Hmm.
tech that obviously came out of modern play. Ensnaring Bridge comes in and out of modern burn all the time. So
Mhm.
that's really good. I think that was, it helped me in quite a lot of matches. You just sit back, you're low on cards, you just sit back and play to your top decks and
Hmm.
burn them out.
Especially if you win game one, because I don't think most people think to bring in artifact hate against Sly. So if
No, they won't. Yeah,
you
yeah.
take game one, you play in Snaring Bridge. If they don't have a way to win outside of the combat phase, you're emptying your hand and probably locking them out of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and even if they find a way to lock you out of something, I had a rock player that played Contamination one game that locked me out. But if you land a curse scroll and you can sit behind ensnaring bridge and just scroll them out at some point as well.
Yep,
So yeah,
sick.
lots of different angles.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and
I like the Mog Salvage too. That's cool. I actually wasn't aware of that card.
Yeah, free spells are always good. And that was more for it's good in the shrimp matchup as well.
Hmm.
But I never, I didn't play against Stifle Knot at all. I think there were maybe two Dreadnought players.
Okay.
Yeah, two or three, but I didn't come up. I would say over here, Dreadnought people pack it, but it's not a huge part of the meta, even though it's a tier one deck.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mhm. But yeah, I think it's a good card. If I'm not seeing Stifle Knot, I might cut it. I think I would go up on sulfuric more vortexes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
I
one
mean,
to.
Ensnaring Bridge also has you covered there, so it's not like you're just exposed to that matchup anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good one. If you resolve it. Yeah,
Yeah.
against shrimp, I think they'll
As
hold
always.
up. Counter magic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I know you have a heart out because you got work lined up. But
I know. I'd
before
rather
you
be playing
go,
magic.
thanks so much for joining us. It's been great picking your brain, getting a peek inside Southeast Asia
Yeah.
pre-modern.
Super cool.
We have our tradition carried over from leaving a legacy of scoops into top eight. So who would you like to scoop into top eight tonight?
Oh yeah, all right. I'll scoop in Lionel. He is one of the main guys in Singapore that drives community. He is a primary organizer for the Nationals. He loans decks out to people he doesn't know as well. So he loaned me a Dystopia, first time I met him. So scoops to Lionel. Thank you for being a
Awesome.
pillar. Yeah, and yeah,
It's all about those pillars of the community, right? You just have those guys that are just happy to loan decks out. They're just happy to see the cards get played.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Pat? Any scoops tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna scoop in neon mushroom slash fluorescent fungus. I've been really enjoying watching his pre-modern
Yeah.
videos. Been trying to watch as many of those as I can in preparation for our own tournament, which is coming up in July, Jerry.
Yep.
I have such limited experience with the format, and I'm really excited to go out and play my first paper tournament with
Oh
pre-modern.
yeah, this is
So
gonna be your first paper tournament coming up.
Nice
it
one.
is,
Spike.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Take
highly
it live.
skeptical that I'll be able to do that, but I do expect to go play every round that is afforded to me, and I'm going to enjoy myself. So,
Excellent.
whether we do well, the wheels come off super early, which is more aligned with what I typically do in tournaments. I'm just looking forward to getting out there and playing some Magic again. So, I do miss it.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, Jerry? Your scoops?
I'm gonna be a selfish scoop because I'm scooping in my apartment building because it was the summer ice cream party and they just had a big ice cream party out front for all the kids and I was just like, well, I don't mind if I do. And
Jerry,
Always up
did you
for some
did
ice
you steal
cream.
ice cream out of a kid's hands again, Jerry?
it wasn't out of the kid's hand; it was on the table.
Nice one.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
awesome.
All
Well,
right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I definitely want to link your pre-modern tournament report in our show notes. That'd be great. And it also has the top 20 deck list from the tournament as well in there. So that'll be in the links as well.
Yeah,
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate you guys and the
Yeah.
work you do for the community. Looking forward to seeing the podcast out and you growing your listener base as well.
Great.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know if
Good
we
luck.
make it down to Singapore to
Yeah.
Please come visit. We'll set you up. Let us know. We'll take you guys out. We'll get the cards you need.
Be
Japanese,
amazing.
and your nimble mongoose.
Love
We-
it.
Honey, we're
Awesome.
going to Singapore.
Please come visit. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks
Yeah,
again, Sean.
thank you,
Appreciate
Sean.
it.
It's great.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
See you guys. Bye.